Season's back, baby.
Well, guys, preseason's officially over. We're into the main camp now. It's go time. It's full bore. It's all what it's about. You know,
Welcome back, boys.
um, it's officially in the rearview mirror. But in the trenches, they're only heating up now. This week, the action's going to shift from practice pads to prime time. Rookies are stamping their names in the game, and veterans are tightening up their grip on the dominance. Welcome to this week's episode of the Hoggie Shuffle. We're episode 20. We got to talk about some rising rookies, some relentless linemen, and obviously 2025 NFL season kicked off last night.
Whoa! What a game that was, too. I tell you, boy. Like, I know you had to miss the first little bit, but I tell you, that first half was electric.
Man, I'll tell you, it was nice. I was coaching, so it was awesome. I mean, not awesome, but obviously the game delayed a little bit, so I got to come back home, watch the whole fourth quarter. So a little treat for me. Obviously, seeing the Cowboys go down, I can, never a bad day to see those Blue Boys lose. I'll tell you that.
I tell you, you could have took every wide receiver off there, and just let them just bring in more blockers, and there's nothing the Cowboys could have done. Like, the trenches in the first half were on lockdown. Jalen was running at will. Nobody could stop him. And obviously, Saquon, first half of the game, he just looked like prime Saquon.
Yeah, I mean, fourth quarter was a little tough. Like, I think the O-line was definitely struggling near the fourth quarter. They were getting a little gassed, first game. It wasn't amazing by any means, but I think the O-line in the fourth quarter on either team was doing great. Dallas couldn't really stop the pass rush, and the Eagles couldn't run the ball. It was tough.
Well, I really think what happened was they had too many snacks in the delay there. Like, see the guys carting around Philly cheesesteaks, and people were just eating and eating and eating. I think that's what happened.
What are those Uncrustables? They were having too many Uncrustables.
Oh, too many Uncrustables. Yeah. Yes, I like it.
So let's start off this week, though. We got, obviously, always Coach's Corner. Grit the trenches. When rookies rise, preparation really wins. Effort doesn't care about draft status. Whether you're a top pick, an undrafted grinder, whether you're a rookie or a veteran, it does not matter. The trenches demand execution. And your daily grind, your film study, your technique, your conditioning, that's what gives you the chance.
100%. Technique and learning curves. Like, you look for rookies to improve the game to game, footwork, hand placement, pad level. Those are the details that separate from, hype, from staying power, from big guys to, guys that are just up and comers. But, that technique, that's the main thing.
Oh, and I'll tell you this right now. I was a bit of an undersized lineman. Obviously, I was a big boy, but I'm talking height-wise. And I mean, I'm telling you, I tell my kids all the time like this. Skill's awesome, but I'll tell you, your effort, your speed, your actual power, your mental, that means so much more than just being the biggest guy out there. It's a big difference. And obviously, your poise under pressure, like your late game drives, those fourth downs, those third downs, any of those times you're going through your critical moments, even if it's preseason, even if it's regular season, that's a big exhibition games or, a playoff game. It's going to expose who's cool under fire. And the right mindset turns backup reps into opportunities. That's facts.
Like, you got to look, guys, like, if you want to know what the recipe is in the off season and getting prepared day by day, even in the season, you look at guys like Ray Lewis and Kobe Bryant. Like, you go watch some of their videos and some of the things that they say. They will tell you the exact recipe, what you need to do to be a champion.
Man, one of the best Kobe Bryant stories ever is when I don't remember the exact station. I'm pretty sure it was when they were doing the Olympics. I think it was either 12 or 08, and he found out one of the guys working out at 4 in the morning. Shit, that dude was now in the gym at 3 a.m. because he wasn't having someone work harder than him. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to who wants to be the hardest working guy out there, who wants to put the extra effort in and really go downhill and be that monster. And, I had a guy this offseason on my high school team where he was getting, like I think I've talked about this previously, but he was getting frustrated because the guys weren't out there. They weren't doing what needed to get done. And yeah, that first week in practice, they was struggling, man. It was tough. Our first game, people were getting gassed. It was really tough. And that kid was one of the biggest kids out there, the biggest gas tank, because he busted his ass all offseason.
I like back to Kobe Bryant real quick before we get into our next segment here. I love this one where, Kobe was not a young guy, but he was still young, but there was younger guys on the team, and they're like, Kobe, you never come out, you never party with us, you're never doing this. And he said, I'll come party with you, but you got to come party with me. And Buddy's like, what do you mean? He's like, okay, I'm going to come party with you, but I'm going to pick you up to go to the gym in the morning. So they partied till like 2:30. Kobe didn't really drink. And 5 o'clock came around. Kobe was at his door, knock, knock, knock. Like, you said, like, if I'm coming with you, you're coming with me. So let's get to the gym. Let's get the work in.
You're going to play, you got to pay. That's how it goes,
100%, man. 100%. What do we got next? Big guy spotlight?
We're going to roll into the big guy spotlight. I just want to cue one more thing on that, guys. It's like, it really, really comes down to being the hardest worker out there. And that doesn't just mean being the guy who lifts the most weights or runs the most laps. It's the mental end of it, too. You need to be so mentally prepared for this kind of stuff and just ready to roll. It's what it all comes down to is that mental preparation, man. It can really make the difference.
100%.
So next we're going to roll into the big guy spotlight. Just talk about some rookies who crushed preseason. We've talked about these guys previously. We've talked about these guys before. But, we really just want to talk about them again. Like I said, this whole podcast, the whole idea of this podcast is to get the guys, the big boys who never get their names called, who never get the spotlights out there. They never get the raise the rafters up for them, anything like that. That's what we want to talk about these dudes. We want to make sure people are listening to us and listening about these fellow men out there that are busting their ass, these big boys. And it's something that's very, very important to me. And so our first guy we're going to talk about is Mr. Kelvin Banks Jr. He's a rookie for the Saints right now. He was very dominant pass protector. He 0 pressures allowed on 33 pass blocking snaps. And that's something that's really cool to see. You see a guy get drafted in the NFL and you never know what's going to happen. You never know if he's going to be good, if he's going to be bad, if he's going to be a backup or starter. But when you can be that young guy and you're rolling in and you're probably going to get some starting reps this season, that's something really cool to see.
Next guy we got up is Will, arms too short, Campbell for the Patriots, rookie O-tackle. And let me say, this guy did not just show up. He showed out. Earned an A grade from CBS Sports for preseason, where he was virtually untouched in pass protection. And I tell you what, I watched a couple of his clips, and boy, oh boy, is this man ready for the NFL. Hardworking camp, habits with starters, and with New England, just absolutely colossal in the trenches for New England. What else we got in here? He was also featured in PFF's emerging rookie list alongside offensive linemen standouts across the position. I'm excited. Good to see him play on Sunday against my Raiders. I'm hoping he does good. I'm hoping for a good fight against the Raiders, but I'm telling you what, he's going to be a long-lasting tackle for the New England Patriots.
All right, next guy we're going to talk about here is Mr. Josh Conerly Jr., playing for the Commanders. He's a first-round O-tackle, so he's battling, obviously, through a tough shift. He's going from left tackle to right tackle. That's a big difference. You're going from the main pass protector to now you're the main run blocker. So it's a huge difference on most teams. You're retaining that muscle memory, change your stance up, your footwork. Coaches have seen tangible improvements. His poise, adaptability, he's earned respect. And making that tough move from left to right, it looked natural in the preseason. Across 2 games, he allowed just 2 pressures, flashed top 3 run blocking grades on the team, showed quick feet plus strong hand placements. Coaches called him a bright spot, and he locked down that starting right tackle role heading into week 1. That's impressive. That's what I really like to see.
Very, very nice. I got Matt Goncalves, Colts 3rd round O-guard. Scouts call him the blueprint, intelligent, reliable, versatile. And I'll tell you one thing, when somebody can call you reliable and versatile, that's a pure mix for somebody that's going to be great. Transitioned into guard seamlessly after offseason moves, physically and mentally dependable. In training camp 2025, Goncalves received his first real reps at guard in his new position after spending most of his career at tackle. The Week 1 preseason game versus the Baltimore Ravens was highlighted in film breakdown. Analysts noted some technical growing pains, particularly with angle sets, but praised him for his jump set technique and promising adaptation to the interior play. Now, again, like we said, making a guy that can move around and be here and be there and wherever the team needs him, that's the kind of guy you always want. You always want somebody, like we just said, versatile.
Love it. Next guy we got is Esa Pole. Esa Pole. Could be Pole. I'm not sure. I'm going to butcher that one. Undrafted O-lineman for the Jets. He did great, man. He had about 0 pressures, over 49 pass block snaps, no penalties in 68 snaps, which
that's pretty
awesome. PFF gave him an 84.1 grades. Underdrafted, overlooked, but impossible to ignore now. And those are the biggest stories I love seeing. Guys that, they fell in the draft a little bit. I know we were talking about this earlier today, but like that Eagles linebacker where 30 teams passed up on him. And I'll tell you what, man, he showed up last night with a forced fumble, man. That was nice to see.
Right.
It was pretty crazy.
That was pretty nice. I liked his attitude last night. Okay, last but not least, we got Jalen Rivers from the Bengals, rookie right guard. Transitioned from tackle to guard minicamp due to injuries, excelled with elite hand usage and run blocking strength and handling stunts. So, obviously he's smart. He can read the defense. He knows what's going on, earning trust as a future anchor inside. Rivers, the Bengals rookie. He's a fifth-round pick out of Miami who shifted from tackle to guard. Logged 70 preseason snaps inside, posting a solid PFF grade in the high 60s. Showed powerful run blocking, clean usage of hands, and ability to recognize stunts quickly. Veteran teammates like Orlando Brown Jr. praised his readiness, while Zach Taylor highlighted his focus and adaptability. Viewed as a reliable depth now, with the tools to grow into a long-term starter at guard. Now that's pretty sweet. I like those words.
So, guys, you ask yourself why we're talking about these guys. And we're talking about preseason. We're still talking about these young boys. But I'll tell you right now, these are the guys in the next 5 years you're going to be seeing out there on starting rosters. And some of them are already on the starting roster. It's really cool to see these guys that are, we want to give them their flowers now so that later we can keep this podcast going and we can say, hey, we talked about that guy years ago. We knew this guy was going to be great years ago. Right. And that's what it comes down to, is really giving these guys their flowers, showing them the respect they deserve, and really giving them that love. Right. Not every story here is about the draft rounds. Like, they're about the readiness, discipline, execution, and just the pure soul of the trenches.
Next week, we're going to have a little piece coming to you guys about who our predictions who are going to be for the Protector of the Year award. We're going to pick a couple guys. We want to hear what you guys think about that. We want to hear what you guys think and who's going to be the Protector of the Year. Because, for us, it's the biggest award you can get in the NFL. And I love it. I love that it's happening, and we want to know what you think about it.
Oh, yeah. Dwayne Johnson. Just saying. That's my battle right now.
Is he good? Because it wasn't him that got hurt last night. It was Landon.
It was Landon, yeah. All right, guys, so we're going to switch up the wheel of teams this week a little bit. And instead of just talking purely of the wheel of teams, we're going to talk about some matchups. Now we finally can say, hey, we got these matchups coming up. We got these actual week one matchups. First one, obviously, we had the game last night, Eagles-Dallas. I'm going to say, before I start about my big thing about the game, obviously the incident that happened, I just want to say this. Not all wins are great. Not all wins are pretty. But watching Dallas lose makes me happy every time. I don't care who beats them. That's me being a pure hater, a pure Eagles fan. And just for my boy out there, horns down as always. So a good buddy of mine's a Dallas fan, but he's also a Longhorns fan, so I always got to give him the horns down.
Oh, poo butt.
I'll tell you this right now. Okay, so as everybody knows, there was a second spitter, and he was the first spitter. And that's what it comes down to is I don't care if you want to go in the press afterwards and, be a little whiny. I don't want to swear on here, but, be a little whiny guy like that and go, oh, I was just spitting in the vicinity and I didn't cause anything and I didn't mean to do this and that. No, dude, the camera doesn't lie. Right. You looked right at that young man. You were probably almost 8-9 years older then, right? You were a grown-ass man. That's a kid. And you looked right at him and spit right at him. You gave that right down there just like he's nothing. And you gave him that little shit grin I swore there. You gave him that little smiley crap little grin you got there. And that just drove him crazy. And I get it. You got to play discipline. Young guys out there, don't bait into that kind of stuff because, those quarterbacks, those other players on the field, they're going to try and get you to bait into that kind of stuff. Don't do it. But I'll tell you this right now. You knew exactly what you were doing in that. And I'll tell you this, if Jalen gets suspended, you deserve just the same suspension as well.
Well, you know my stance on things like that. We're role models. Those guys are role models. They're millionaires. They get paid to do what they do. They got to have a little self-respect and they got to respect the game and they got to respect who's watching the game. Now, that being said, I'll tell you one thing. If he was to meet you in a back alley after the game, you think he'd be crying? Because I guarantee you he'd rip both your arms and beat you to death with them.
Like, he's an outstanding citizen. He's never done anything wrong his whole life.
Right?
But okay, I'll tell you this, though. And this is me being a hater on Dallas. That was a good game. Like, I did not expect Dallas to come out that hot. I did not expect them to put up, a couple touchdowns, a few field goals. I really didn't see that coming. I thought that was going to be a very one-sided game. I was running my mouth all week saying, it was going to be 40-7, 42-7, whatever. I thought it was going to be a way bigger game for the Eagles. They didn't play great. Their defense let a lot up in the first half there. Second half, obviously, the shutout, but the first half wasn't amazing. Offensive line had great pass blocking, but the run blocking in the second half was just dismal. And it was tough to see. And I didn't get to watch the whole game. Like I said earlier, I was coaching out there. I'm a coach in the community. I was doing my thing, getting the boys ready. We have a game tomorrow up on Saturday here. So, we're getting pretty ready for that. But, it was nice to see at the end the difference, though. The difference was this. Cowboys' offensive line could not stop the pass rush to save their life. It was terrible. But I'll tell you this, Jalen didn't get touched. That was the big difference I noticed. Our run blocking wasn't amazing, but the difference was Jalen didn't get touched once.
Well, I'll tell you, I watched the whole game, and I can confidently say that you guys were one step off of getting him almost every single time in the first half. Like he was lucky to get the ball off on a couple of big pass plays. And you know, if it was just one step difference, you guys would have sacked him all over and over.
It's almost like if there was an extra defensive lineman out there, it would have been a little different. But
right?
somebody had to spit at somebody and spit back, and it was a little,
But I'll tell you this: if they had Micah Parsons last night, I don't think Jalen Hurts would have been running around like he was running around. Like,
also do not think so.
He was forced to run inside a little bit or outside, but they were just missing that one piece on Dallas. And again, I got to say, Jerry Jones, you're an absolute idiot for letting that guy go off your team. It's going to hurt you. It hurt you last night, and it's going to hurt you through the entire season. And the Green Bay Packers are going to be good, so you're going to get some mid-round draft picks for that guy. Mid-round, first-round picks, like all the good scoop and score guys are going to be gone by the time you get those picks.
Jerry Jones eating a whole bowl of idiot soup.
But I mean, Jerry Jones doesn't care if the Dallas Cowboys win or lose. He just cares about how much money they make. That's all he cares about.
All right, let's go talk about tonight's matchup. I mean, you got Chiefs-Chargers. They're playing out in Sao Paulo. I think is it Brazil they're playing in again? Or is it in Brazil?
It was 10-3 last time I looked.
I'll tell you this right now.
13-3, baby.
Love seeing it. I've never been the biggest Herbert fan. I thought he got a lot of praise early in his career when he hadn't earned it yet. He shows great things. They have a really good system out there. Obviously, their defensive line's great. But the Chiefs are obviously they're coming back from being in the Super Bowl last year, and they're the kind of team that in the past few years they win games, but they don't win them pretty. You're going to see some fourth quarter action coming from here today. I do think this is me being biased to see it, but I do think Chiefs will come back a little bit here. It'll be a close game. It's going to be within 3 points. Either way it goes, it's going to be within 3 points. It's going to be a tight game right to the wire.
Well, one thing we know about Herbert, and again, he's a great athlete, great quarterback, but he doesn't have the ability to finish. And I don't know why he doesn't have that ability, but I will say this. Khalil Mack is still firing on all cylinders and still looking like a champion out there. I think before the first period was over, he already had 3 tackles, 4 tackles, couple for a loss. Like he's still flying around, being the Mack that he always has been, kicking ass. I think Chargers are going to win, but I can't say that. I mean, that's what I'm hoping that they can just knock down the Chiefs a little bit. But I mean, Travis Kelce, he's not looking like Travis Kelce. Like he took out his own wide receiver tonight, cleaned him right out, which I was just very surprised to see that it was Travis Kelce. And Buddy went right to the locker room. I don't even know if I haven't seen, but I don't think he came back to the game.
Think about that wedding a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, next matchup, we're going to go into it. Talk about my boys here on the Raiders. We got Raiders and we got Patriots.
I'm going to start off by saying Raiders. And I'll tell you what, Raiders are going to win. It might not be pretty. We're going to go down there and we're going to put a boot right up Josh McDaniels. You know what? I think we win 24-17. Like, I don't think it's going to be a crazy, crazy game. I think that, old legendary Pete's never lost a first game as a head coach in any division or any league that he's ever coached in. So let's go.
So here's my thought with the Raiders. I think they still need to get their quarterback situation figured out. I think they're going to have a good running back this year. Not great. He's going to do decent, though. He's going to do a good job. I think his offensive coordinator and Chip Kelly is going to ruin him. I truly do. But that being said, Patriots don't have anybody special. They don't have anybody shiny. They don't have anybody that just amazes me. I think their quarterback is Drake May?
Drake May, yeah.
And really, I don't see him going out there. Like you said, I don't see him going out there and putting up more than 2 touchdowns. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't think it's going to be amazing. I'm going to give it up. I also think Raiders are going to win by about a field goal. I think it's going to be close game. I think Raiders take it by 3.
That's how passionate I am. Go Raiders. All right, who do we got next? We've got
the matchup. We got the matchup everyone wants to see. We got Jets Steelers. Now this is obviously the NFL. They're scheming a little bit. They knew what they were doing here for Week 1 matchup. They knew what was happening. You got a guy that obviously came to the Jets, did absolutely nothing. Didn't do a thing there. Now he's over at the Steelers, and we're going to see how he plays out. They did a little quarterback swap action there, and we got Justin Fields over on the other side, and we'll see what happens.
I'm going to say this about the Jets. Since the 60s, since Joe Namath won the championship there way back when, they have been an absolute dumpster fire, and they will continue to be a dumpster fire, and I'm not sure why. They're in one of the greatest cities in all of the world. New York. I mean, they don't play in New York. They don't. They play in New Jersey. But what I'm saying is, who do you pick? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to get it done at his age with a mediocre offensive line with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers are going to connect for at least 2 tutties. I do.
I don't see them giving him. I don't see Aaron Rodgers getting enough time to throw the ball. I really don't. But again, I'm not picking the Jets to win because the Steelers' defense is going to be lights out. It's going to be a low score. I'm thinking like 17-10. Like I don't think it's going to be anything crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think Steelers take it by a touchdown, maybe a touchdown and a field goal, 10-point game, something like that. You're probably going to see TJ out there getting at least 2 sacks. Like he's a monster. He's a big guy. Like he's, again, not pumping his tires. Still think Myles Garrett's better. But that being said, TJ Watt's a dog.
Like again, the days of Rodgers putting up 40 points, like he ain't no Tom Brady. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that lineage in him, so he ain't putting up 40 points the rest of his whole life ever again. He could be playing Pee Wee football team, and he still wouldn't put up 40 points.
Hey, I mean, we've seen Manning do it.
Yeah, we've seen Manning do it, but I'll tell you what, through the later part of his career, he had a lot more to going on than Aaron Rodgers did with all his ayahuasca mental trips and all the crap that he does.
All right, next matchup we got going on, obviously going to be Dolphins-Colts. Now, rolling into this one, it's a tough side. I'm not sure is Richardson back yet?
I don't believe so.
And that's where it comes down to being an absolute idiot coaching staff. I'm not blaming him for this, but to put your starting quarterback in your first preseason game is the dumbest thing I've seen. And I don't even want to give it a comparison. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, it is just stupid. Like,
well, I'll put it to you this way. Daniel Jones is getting the nod to start the game, and his stats are better than Trevor Lawrence's stat line for line since they came into the league. And we all know who number one guy was and who was going to be the next Peyton Manning and who was going to be the next guy. But again, Daniel Jones' stats are better.
Daniel Jones tackled himself 2 years ago.
Hey, buddy, come on. He played on the New York Giants. Obviously, I'll tell you this, New York Giants, one of the dumbest franchises in NFL history.
Oh, hands down.
Got rid of the best running back of the century because they didn't want to give him $1 million guaranteed or $10 million guaranteed. Like, tell me, you guys, look at you guys. Yep, we're paying him. We're paying him right now.
Yeah, number one player, all guaranteed.
Number one player of 2024, excuse me.
Dog. I'm going to say Dolphins taking it. He's going to hit him. You know he's going to get Tyreek for a couple. Like, I'm probably going to say at least 28-17 Dolphins.
You know, I mean, Jonathan Taylor's there. Don't forget about Jonathan Taylor. Like, I don't think Miami's got it. I think Colts are going to win. I really do. I think Colts are going to win like 21-14 or 21-10. I really do. I think Daniel Jones is going to show out.
Now, the best part about this, by the time this podcast comes out, depending on when I can get this going, and guys, I'll tell you this right now. I've been so busy coaching and working and doing so much. I know we've been slacking on the podcast here. I'm hoping I can get this out before the games come out on Sunday, but we're going to see what happens. But biggest thing, guys, is, I appreciate you sticking around. I appreciate you watching the podcast because, I've been struggling to keep this up. I really have, and I want to keep it going. I really do. Now, especially now the season started, it gets me really excited to keep this going. So next one we got is going to be Cardinals and Saints. And I believe Saints are starting a rookie at quarterback this year.
No, I don't think he's rookie. It's they're starting Spencer Rattler.
Second year Spencer Rattler. And you're going against Mr. Kyler Murray. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a tough one. I don't know. I think Saints take it. I do. Again, like I just said, starting a younger guy. But I think it's going to be really cool to see. I think it's going to be a decent game. I think you're going to see a few touchdowns come out of this because neither team has the strongest defense in the world. Saints were obviously dumb letting go Zach Braun last year because dude is a monster.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm going to go – it's not going to be crazy, but I'm going to go 28-21. No, 28-20. Cardinals got a couple field goals in there. 28-20 Saints.
Well – I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. I don't even think the Chiefs are going to, I don't think the Saints are even going to win 3 games this year. I think they're going to have a really, really bad season. I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to be that much better, but I'm definitely taking Cardinals. Cardinals got a better running back. They got better wide receivers. Definitely I think they got a better defense, but I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot there. Saints are going to have a first-year head coach. I'm taking Cardinals. I'm going to go up a little higher. I think Kyler Murray's going to put up about 28 points, and I think the Saints might might put up 10 points.
You think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be making those catches?
I really do. I really do.
I don't know. I don't believe in him.
I think Kyler Murray, there's nothing big going on tomorrow or on Sunday with Call of Duty.
Buddy, it's double XP. It's double XP weekend every weekend now.
Well, then maybe not. That's my pick.
All right. Next, we're going to roll into we got the NFC East showdown here. We got Giants-Washington. Now, everyone knows this. As a pure Eagles fan, I hate both these teams. I really do. But I hate Giants a little bit more. I do. And I think that Jaden Daniels kid, he showed so much promise last year. I think you're going to see him come out this year with the same attitude and the same swagger he had last season. And I honestly think they're putting up 35. I think you're going to see a 35-17 game.
Fun fact, Debo's returning kicks.
Woo! That's going to be nasty.
Didn't see that one coming, did we?
And I'll tell you this, especially the fact that they have what's the other receiver they got there?
McLaren?
McLaren, man, yeah. Him and McLaren they were so good last year together. And I think that Daniels and McLaren are really going to connect this year again too. And I plan on the Eagles seeing them again in the NFC Championship game.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much why they went out and got Debo, so they could, put up some big numbers against you guys if they actually can, get the ball off. I'm taking Washington. New York isn't, again, like we just said, they're on the dumb list for the whoever's running that team. I'm going to go 31 to maybe 7. I don't even know if the Giants are going to score on these guys.
Mark my words. By week 4, Jameis Winston's playing quarterback for the Giants.
Right? I mean, come on.
I know he's third string right now, but it's going to be a dumpster fire. It's going to be a dumpster fire. One of those two guys are getting hurt, and you're going to see Jameis take the reins.
Did we not see Russell Wilson last year? Did we not see the garbage that he gave Pittsburgh? He was just absolutely not great. He needs to go and get his life together and just fade off into the sunset.
He needs to take Future's kid by the hand and just walk out in the sunset. All right, after that, we got Panthers, we got Jaguars. Now, this is the tale of the two cats. Truly, both teams aren't going to be amazing, but obviously Canadian-born bred, I want to see that running back go off. I want to see Chuba get 150 yards. I want to see him just have a great day, 2 tutties. I want to see it all. As a local kid, he's an Edmonton guy. He's an Albertan guy, Sherwood Park. I want to see that. I want to see him go off absolutely and destroy. But on the flip side, I want to see what Travis Hunter can do in an NFL game. I really do. I want to see if he can actually play wide receiver in the NFL. Corner, I'm not worried about it. I don't think he's going to be a great corner at all. I think that's a rookie thing that's going to happen. And by year 2, he's not playing corner at all. But I really want to see him be a successful wide receiver in this league. And I really think that Trevor Lawrence can get that ball deep down to him.
Well, and he's the starting wide receiver this week too, which is, amazing to see a guy coming out of college and being number 1, right? The other cool fact I like about this game is that you got Chuba starting, week 1 he's ever started, and then Etienne starting, and those guys shared a backfield when they were playing at the Cowboys, which is really cool.
That's cool. I didn't know that one. That's a really cool stat. That's really cool. And Travis Etienne, man, he's a good player. He's a baller. He's one of those backs where he's not the biggest back in the world, but man, if he gets an open field, he's gone.
Oh, he's squirrely for sure. I got to give mine to my guy from Sherwood Park. I'm thinking he's going to get right around a little under, maybe a little over 100 yards, but I'm thinking 24-17, 24-10 Panthers.
I like it. I'm thinking the same. I'm thinking 2-3 touchdowns out of the Panthers. I'm thinking you're going to see maybe Travis Hunter sneak one in his rookie, opener. But again, I don't think he's going to be the flashiest guy you ever seen. I'm going the same thing. I'm thinking it's going to be a 21-24-10 Panthers.
Right. I think the game of the week is going to be Lions and Packers.
Yep, I was just about to, the mouse was hovering over it. We were on the same brainwave right there. I think that is going to be game of the week for sure.
I think that's going to be a high scoring game. I think you're going to see both teams score at least 30 points, and whoever has the last drive at the end of the game is going to win.
All right, next matchup. It's going to be Bengals and Browns. Get the BB games here.
Gross.
Now, obviously, we all know what's going to happen here. We know the outcome of this. Bengals are going to have a nice little warm-up game to start the season off. They're probably putting up I bet you they're putting up 40. I bet you're putting up 35, 40 points, honestly. That's the reality of this. He's going to be hitting them deep. He's going to be hitting them hard, and it's going to be a great game.
Let's be honest. When your quarterback's rolling into his 18th season, second stint on the Browns, I mean, you got to love Flacco, man. The guy is just...
Oh, he's a hometown hero, man. I love Flacco.
He's just putting in the work and he's still doing great things. But that team, what they've done in the past couple of years and the terrible moves they've made. I mean, they got the best defensive end in the game, possibly one of the greatest of all time. He's getting a couple sacks on Burrow.
He's getting. Their O-line is not good enough to stop Myles Garrett. Not a chance.
If Flacco goes down, you're going to get to see Shedeur Sanders get some playing time, but I don't think that he's going to be ready to go after Flacco goes down week 1.
I bet you they put Dylan in first. I want to see what's going to happen and this is my pure prediction on the Browns this season. Flacco's going to go down. I'm not saying it's this game. I'm not saying it's next game. He's going to get hurt. You're going to see Dylan Gabriel go in. He's going to do terrible. He's going to be the next Johnny Manziel. He's going to be the next garbage player on the Browns. And then you're going to see Shedeur finally get his shot with starters out there, and you're going to see some magic happen.
I hope so. I'm pulling for him.
I really am. I really, really am. So, like I said, I'm thinking like a 35-10.
Yeah, me too. I think the next big game you're going to want to watch out for, this one's going to be cool, is the Texans versus LA Rams. I think that one's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I also think that one's going to be a big defensive game. They might not put up a ton of points, but I really think that you're going to see Matt Stafford. He's going to look good as always. But again, C.J. Stroud is going to he's going to outshine him. C.J. Stroud's going to come out, and they're going to come out hard. I think Nick Chubb's the starting running back.
I believe so.
I heard a lot of things. Nick Chubb doesn't have the cuts anymore, and so Nick Chubb's his greatest ability was to be able to cut and play and move wherever he wanted to. And I think those knees now, I don't know if they have it. So you're going to see him. I think you're going to see him more so be the inside the guy. He's going to be an inside type of guy, and we'll see where it goes from there.
He lost those knees with them kicks he was doing.
Right, but then we got Puka Nacua going. So I mean, you never know.
All right, next matchup, we got Buccaneers Falcons, and I'm telling you this right now, this is going to be a great game again too. This is going to be a good one. But I think Baker is really going to have a great season this year. I really, really do. And I think you're going to see him honestly go off into the sunset maybe a little bit. I'm not saying they're Super Bowl bound. I'm not saying they're going to be the craziest playoff contenders. But I think Buccaneers are going to be a solid, solid team this year. Personally, on the other side, was it Penix on the other side there? Yeah. He had a rough start last year. He's coming out this year 2. He's going to do great. They got, Bijan Robinson as a running back?
Bijan.
He's a monster. Bijan with a Dijon. He's a monster out there too. But I don't know. I think Falcons are going to run in for a couple, maybe get one in. So I'm going to say probably Falcons 21, Buccaneers probably in that, mid-30s. So probably, let's say 35-21 Buccaneers. That's my guess on that one.
I'm pretty much on the same thing. I don't see them kicking a lot of field goals for the Buccaneers because they got Baker, the sheriff in the backfield, and so I'm going to say 28 for my guy Baker Mayfield, and I'm going to say 21-23 for the Falcons.
That's respectable. That's respectable. All right, next up we got Tennessee versus the Denver Broncos.
Now I like to see, and this doesn't happen very often, where a rookie quarterback becomes a team captain week 1. Now, a lot of guys might disagree with that, but he put in the work this offseason, this spring, and he held all of his teammates accountable and said, and we all know we've talked about all the things he was saying, and he was getting into some arguments with some of the guys, but he was being respectful about to the older guys, and he was just trying to be a team leader. Now,
he was supposed to win games.
Now, that being said, on the other side, we got Bo Nix. As much as I don't want to talk about how good the Broncos are going to be with Bo Nix, I think the Broncos are going to have a really strong season this year.
Nope.
And I think that, Sean Payton and Bo Nix have a really good connection. And I'm not saying Bo Nix is the greatest quarterback out there, but Sean Payton is a very great football mind, and he's a player's coach. He knows where to talk, when to talk, and, look at Bountygate. He knew what he had to do to get those guys to win the Super Bowl.
I do not believe in Bo Nix for 1 second. Bo Nix is going to be a guy that in 5 years nobody talks about. He's going to be an NFL analyst. He's going to be not in the league. He is not a great quarterback. I just don't see him being successful. I really don't.
I'm gonna take the Broncos at 21 points, and I'm gonna take the Tennessee Titans. It's gonna be really close. I'm gonna take them at 18 points.
Nope. I mean, that's a great call. I'm just gonna strongly disagree. I think it's gonna be a bit of a shootout. I think it's gonna be a bit of a good game, but I'm gonna say 17-10 for Tennessee.
Okay, that's one we'll watch.
It's gonna be a good one.
What do you got? Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, what do you got in the San Francisco Seattle game.
That's going to be a great game. I've been hearing lots of stuff that Mr. McCaffrey's not playing. He didn't practice at all today on Friday, which sucks to see because he could be such a generational talent. But he's going to go as the guy he's going to be the guy that could have been. He's always rest of his life he's going to be the could have been guy. He had 2-3 great seasons in his career, and ever since that ankle injury and that knee injury, man, he's never been the same. He's never going to be that guy anymore. He's always going to be an injury guy. He's always going to maybe get you 6 games a season, 7 games a season. That's all you're getting out of him. So fantasy guys, you picked him. You messed up, boys. You really did, because he's not going to do much.
What I want to... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, he's a waiver wire. He's a guy near the end of the season you pick up at the end, get a couple points through him, but he's not the kind of guy you should be having on your starting roster for your fantasy team.
What I was going to say is, what I want to know, who in the heck is believing in Sam Redhead Darnold? Like, had a decent season... in a mediocre division. The Packers were okay last year. The Bears were trash. Minnesota wasn't that great. They started off really fast, really hot. But again, who is believing in that guy? Because I am not. I don't believe the hype. I don't think he's going to do anything. I think this one's going to be almost a blowout. I see the San Francisco 49ers defense absolutely crushing the Seahawks. Seahawks maybe get 10 points, and I think that San Francisco is going to score like 38 points.
My prediction is San Fran takes a defensive touchdown in.
Oh, for sure.
I think they're going to get a defensive touchdown. I really do. I think you're going to see him absolutely blow up that quarterback. Maybe a little scoop and score action from Mr. Bosa. I think it's going to be a nasty game for them.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Now, talked about this earlier, but this is the old Hoggie Shuffle matchup of the week here.
Oh.
And it's cool because it's another divisional rival game. It's something that's going to be, it's a good game. And we got the Pack versus the Lions. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I truly believe that Jordan Love is one of the next guys up. I really think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback this year. I think you're really going to see him be successful. I think he's done his time watching. He's done his time being that guy, and I think you're going to see him be an absolute all-star this year. I do not believe in the other guy. I do not believe in Jared Goff anymore. For him to be in the top, I think he was top 3 quarterbacks going from the player vote. I just don't understand it. He's not a great quarterback. I just don't get it. Like the Lions were something that 2 years ago, they were Super Bowl contenders. They were absolute monsters. They were doing the right things, but they cut Zetzler, the guy that was catching their passes on their little weird lineman routes and things like what are you doing? You had everything together and you let it crumble out.
I'm gonna wholeheartedly disagree with you. I think that it's going to be a tight game. I think Jordan Love's going to do a lot of things. Micah Parsons is playing with a bad back, so I don't know how effective he's going to be or if he's even playing. But, you can't leave out Ahmad St. Brown, and you definitely can't leave out Gibbs. Now, Gibbs is going to get some yards this week. They still got Penei Sewell. They still got a wicked offensive line. Again, I see the run game being big for both teams here because my boy's on that team. Josh Jacobs is there. He's gonna bust for at least 100. But I'm gonna go with the Pack. I just like that coach. I just think that he is he's the true test of what the guys need as a support group on that team. And you know what? I think it's gonna be a big game. I think it's gonna be like 21-28 or 28-24 or something like that. But I'm definitely taking the Lions.
It's gonna be a 4 touchdown to 3 kind of game.
For sure.
I really truly am thinking the Pack are gonna take it for sure.
We'll have to watch that one maybe.
It's going to be a good game. Oh, yeah. I want to watch that.
It's an afternoon game, but that's definitely the game I'll be watching in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah. We'll get it going. Now, talk about this as well, too. We got Texans-LA game. Now, we talked about this already. This is going to be a bit of a defensive stalwart. This is going to be one of those games that's, I don't see it being crazy, crazy high. I think, obviously, Puka's going to get some yards. He's going to do great things. But on the other side, I don't think it's going to be amazing. I don't think you're going to see the craziest high-scoring game you've ever seen. It's not going to be like that Chiefs Chiefs LA game from 2020 or 2021, where that it was the highest scoring game, 50-52 or something. It's not going to be anything like that.
Yeah, we covered this game already.
No, we talked about it a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure we picked score, didn't we?
Nope.
We talked about, okay, maybe not, sorry.
We talked about it, just like we talked about the Packers-Lions game.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. I think, Rams are going to show up and show out, but I got the Texans winning. By about 15 points.
Yep, I do too.
Last but not least.
We got 2 games left.
Oh, that's right, sorry.
This is going to be a game too. We got Ravens-Bills. And now everyone knows realistically as much as I want to shit on the Chiefs, hopefully they're not in the AFC Championship. This is the AFC Championship that I hope we get to see. Truly do. I hope this is the showdown going into the who one of these two teams gets to go to the Super Bowl, because both teams last year showed that they had the promise to be in that game. They were both so unreal. You had Mr. Lamar running out there, passing out there, being an absolute dog. You had Josh Allen commanding that offense and just rolling around. This is going to be a shootout. This is going to be I know I said shootout before, low scoring game, but this is going to be a high scoring game. This is going to be one of those games that goes down to this is a 4 or 5 touchdown apiece kind of game.
Oh yeah, big time. I see good things coming from both quarterbacks. Lamar's gonna run the ball. He's gonna throw the ball. He's definitely gonna throw a pick. But we also know that Josh is gonna throw a pick, maybe 2. I think this is gonna be like a 31-48. Sorry, 31. Excuse me. I think this is gonna be a 38-41 type of game.
Yep.
But I think the Baltimore Ravens are gonna have the edge, coaching wise. And I think that, I think you're going to really show out your running back with the Baltimore Ravens. I think King Henry's going to have a lightning season this year. I think, he's aiming. He's talking about breaking that 2,000 yards again this year. So I think Ravens, it's going to be a high score barn burner. But
I think Ravens take it, though. Yeah. Yep, I completely agree. I think Ravens take it. And then the last but not least, obviously, I'm going to steal that from you there. You said it. But our last matchup is obviously going to be Skol versus Bears. I got a buddy of mine I know that's a big Vikings fan. A couple of kids I coach are big Vikings fans. I've been telling them how rough their season's going to be. But this first week, I don't think it's going to be the worst game in the world. I think this is one of those games where I do think Vikings are probably going to take it. I don't believe in the other guy there. I don't think he's going to do amazing. I think that what's his name? It's who's for the Bears?
Williams.
Williams, yeah. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback in the league, boys. I really don't. He's the kind of guy that within 1 to 2 seasons, he's off the Bears. He's floating around as a backup somewhere. He's not going to be great. The Bears did get some good veterans on their offensive line, trying to get a little more protection for him. But I think that Vikings defense is going to take them down for sure.
I do too. And, that being said, Vikings don't have the best quarterback. They're starting year 2 guy. Didn't really do anything last year because he was sitting behind Darnold. But I think we're watching the same quarterbacks. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. Like, they're not. I don't think either of these two quarterbacks are going to be great. And I lost a lot of respect for the Bears head coach. And I'm not saying that I have anything against what's going on, but you're telling me you're not going to allow these 2 male cheerleaders in, and it's 2025. Who cares what they're doing? They're doing what they love to do. If you like it or you hate it, whatever, as a fan, it's your opinion. But for the coach to come out there and say that it's going to distract his quarterback, I just find that to be a very
ridiculous
low.
statement.
I find it to be a very low shot at the way society is today. And you know what I mean? To each their own, have your own feelings, but to hurt two people out there like that, to know that you're not even allowing them in the building, it just
they're
feels
athletes.
Like, it just
feels who cares?
It feels like 1960s are coming back, and people just can't deal with it.
Like, they're out there at the best at their sport, getting to the highest stage they could possibly be, and you're going to try and block them out and disrespect that community? I mean, that's just crazy to me.
Absolutely.
Who gives a shit what their orientation is, what their gender is, anything like that, man? If they're the best at what they can do, let them show it out. Let them 100%. Be the best.
If they can do it, why can't they do it?
Exactly. Like, it's a ridiculous statement to even be made, and it's something the NFL should make an example of. I truly think so.
100%. 1,000%.
So, guys, that's our week 1 matchups. That's how it's going down. That's obviously our predictions. Hate us, love us, tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right. I don't really care. I think it's fun. I have a good time doing this, going to talk to my brother about football. I mean, that's the whole idea.
Right. That was probably my favorite segment we've done this whole season.
I like that.
Episodes.
That was a lot of fun. Getting back, and it's because the season's finally starting. We're finally getting football. Finally.
All right, what do we got next?
Next, we got 2 more segments left, boys. We got my segment and Rob's segment. This is what we always go over each week. And we got the Legends Talk. Echoes of past grit. We're going to talk about Matt Light today. He's an offensive tackle for the Patriots. He was born in Greenville, Ohio in 1978. He's a bit of an older dude. He played, obviously. He was more of an early 2000s kind of guy. He grew up in a small town. He was a 3-sport athlete in high school with football, basketball, and track. And to be an offensive lineman and running track, whoa. Man, you got some fast feet, boy. Holy shit. His toughness showed early at Purdue. He didn't even begin his career as a full-time tackle. He came in as a tight end before bulking up, moving to the line where he developed into a steady and technical pass protector. He was a second-round pick, drafted 48th overall in the 2001 draft by the Patriots when nobody knew what Light was about to become the cornerstone of a dynasty.
Right.
As a rookie, he was thrust into the fire. He was tasked with protecting a young Tom Brady. He had the hair, he was flowing down there trying to keep that defense in the game because the offense wasn't super great back then. Tom Brady was still learning. He was getting better. And that season, Brady and the Patriots, they shocked the world. They won the Super Bowl against the Rams. Light started at left tackle in the game, and he never looked back. From day one, he wasn't the flashiest athlete alive, but he was disciplined. He was technically sharp, and most importantly, he was dependable. And if you can have a dependable guy, I don't care if you're a rookie, if you're a 10-year veteran in the league, man, dependable guys always get to play football. And that's how it goes, man. It's just like coaching. I don't care if you're a grade 10, you're a grade 12, you're a grade 8, you're a grade 9, man. If you're dependable and you're the dude, you're going to get that spot all day long.
Right on.
Man, his effort in playing side, he was a blindside protector. He spent 11 seasons as Brady's left tackle. Wow. And if you don't keep a franchise quarterback upright that long without being relentless in preparation, you ain't doing it. He was the guy out there keeping Brady safe. His technique was over brute. He was 6'4", 305 pounds. So he wasn't the biggest tackle in the league by means at all. But he masterclass in leverage, hand placement, footwork to neutralize some of the game's nastiest edge rushers out there. And he had some great durability. 153 starts in 155 games in his career. Dude, that's 2 games he wasn't starting.
Wow.
That is rare. That means there was not a lot of injuries. That means there was no sick days. There was no days off. He was keeping Brady safe every day of the week. And he started in 5 Super Bowls, winning 3 times, and became synonymous with the New England Patriots' clutch postseason success. That is just hats off to this guy. That's crazy to me. His leadership and personality, he wasn't just about blocking. He was about the culture. Teammates remember his humor, his pranks, his ability to keep things loose in the locker room. And that's what it comes down to when you guys know how being an offensive line, being a defensive lineman. We're not the most technical guys out there. We don't got the best footwork. We don't got the best hands. But I'll tell you this, we're busting ass and having fun. And that's the whole idea, man. That's always how it
fun,
goes.
Baby.
And, when it came time to grind, though, just like I just said, he flipped the switch. His preparation set the tone for the younger linemen coming up, and his reliability made coaches trust that left side without question. They didn't have to worry about it. They knew Brady was safe, man. They knew when that tuck rule was coming that he was okay. Sorry, I had to hurt you on that one a little bit.
Yeah, I heard him say it.
Off the field, he became one of the Patriots' most visible community leaders. He has the Light Foundation that he founded in 2001, by the way, when he was just a rookie. So that's so cool to see. It has raised millions of dollars for at-risk youth, blending his platform with just purpose. To go over his career legacy, guys, he had 11 seasons with the Patriots from 2001 to 2011, 3-time champion, 3-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro in 2007 in New England's historic 16-0 regular season season there. He was inducted to the Patriots Hall of Fame in 2018, and his impact, man. He's remembered for, like I said, he's remembered for not his raw dominance, but his consistency, his toughness, his reliability. The qualities that every coach just prays for in a left tackle. He wasn't the headline guy, but without his steady presence, Brady and Belichick's dynasty doesn't get off the ground. And we talk about this all the time, guys. The linemen, that's the first line of defense on both sides of the football. If you don't have a solid offense and defensive line, you ain't doing jack squat. It's just that simple. The Patriots, they never had the most flashy receivers. A couple times, yeah, they had some big names, but their whole entire scheme was based off dink and dush passes out there. Dink and, little passes out there, little short yards, little out routes, little slants. And you need an offensive line guy that can hold that D end off, hold those defensive linemen off, get the linebacker blitzes out. And, he wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest tackle, but he was always there. Always prepared, always dependable for 11 seasons. He had Brady's blind side, wasn't even a question. And he turned that reliability into 3 Super Bowl rings, and he's a legacy in Foxborough forever.
100%. Hats off to you, Matt. All right, next up we got the good, the bad, and the ugly. We covered these guys on a previous statement, but I had to put him in my good for this week. We got Colts Conclave. Back to that 3rd-round pick in 2024, dubbed the blueprint, consistency, intelligent, versatility, shifting inside the guard this year to be the rock for Indianapolis. Mental toughness, he's going to be big time this year. He's going to be one of our goods. And I can't say enough about this next guy. I am so impressed out of all the guys we talked about, and I'll keep talking about him all season. And as I said, I'm excited to watch him play this week. Will Campbell. We know that he was the 4th overall pick. Headlines out there are calling him. He is going to be protection and dominance. You're going to see him early. You're going to see him consistent. You're going to see him start kicking a lot of guys' butts. He's going to be in tough against Max Crosby a little bit, but I think he's going to have a good game against Crosby. And then we got Seahawks, Gray Zabel, rookie left guard. He has cemented himself as a starter, as a rookie. Sheer consistency and upside, a formal tackle, turned to lead guard. Zabel became a key piece to revitalizing that O-line in Seahawks. All right. Next, we got depth woes for the Packers and our bad. Green Bay may have 2 competent left tackles, but the bottom line, we're worrying about you guys. We're worrying about the, Packers depth there, support and love. Camp closed down. Depth charts in the starters are thin, which raises some serious concerns for, if injury happens this week. What are the Packers going to do? They don't have too many guys, next guys up.
Mike is not coming to play guard.
Right? He should be. Next, we've been talking about this a lot this year is, the Giants offensive line, they're stagnant. Despite, optimism of the offensive line, received only patchwork upgrades, Andrew Thomas health and interior questions, Schmitz, Van Rotten. Van Rotten's getting up there in age too, and Neal leave the unit vulnerable, threatening their offensive promise. And again, like we just talked about, I think you're going to see that rookie, Dart. I think he's going to beat both those guys out. And, Jameis Winston might come in to recover first, but I think you'll see Dart go in there just because they need somebody to be able to look down the field and get out there quick. All right, you said this too, this right now, Detroit's interior uncertainty. They lost key veterans, interior pieces like Ragnow and Zittler, leaving rookies untested, and those guys are in charge. Penei Sewell can only be so much for the Detroit Lions.
Exactly.
Lack of cohesion up front could really derail Detroit's offense momentum early this season. All right, now we got the ugly. Panthers, well, we already know they're going to be ugly, but, they don't really have that answer at left tackle, Ikwanu out due to an accompaniment. Carolina is forced to choose Brady Christensen and Josh Neiman. With a little time left before, they kick off, which edge rusher like Trevon Walker's ready to pounce. The margins for their error is going to be very thin on that offensive line. And, again, like we talked about, Panthers really needed to beef up that offensive line because, again, I love my guy at Ashore Park, but he is not a big back. He needs blocking.
100%.
Right? Chargers, well, we've seen tonight, they lost their Pro Bowl tackle, Rashawn Slater, for the season with that torn pec. And, that's really, really going to hurt them. But, their offensive identity are in jeopardy now. And that's going to be a big pushback. And I really think that you're going to see that tonight in the game. And I think that you're going to notice in that second half of that game, whether, charges are big or, what they're doing. I think you're going to really see that late in the game that they're going to get the pressure put on them and they're not going to have much to go back against it. And then the Falcons, you know what? We've been also talking about this all year. The Falcons are really young. They got rid of a lot of guys, cut a lot of salary off their offensive line. They enter the season with minimal experience up front, placing heavy reliance on rookies and first-year contributions. With a thin depth chart, one injury or one stumble could snowball fast, and you could see the Falcons in real big trouble with that offensive line.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's the main meat and potatoes of the podcast. I thought this was a great day today. We had a lot of fun with it, talking about the matchups, talking about our young boys, big guy spotlight. Being consistent as an offensive line and mentally, physically preparing. The hustle flat. Preseason gave us proof. Hustle flat beats hype. Every snap, every adjustment, every assignment. Rookies like Banks, Campbell, Conerly, Pole, Rivers. They didn't just show up. They showed out in the trenches. And at the end of the day, boys, like I said again, effort always rules. Always going to win. I don't care how big, how strong you are, but you get that proper leverage in, you got that set skill and that mental preparation, you're going to be a monster. So, like I said before, I always say it every week, boys, if you like this breakdown, hit subscribe, follow us on all platforms, stay ready, stay gritty, and always stay square.
Stay nasty.
Love it, boys. We'll see you back next week.
Peace
Have
out,
fun watching
guys.
football. Season's back.